All right, team. So very good evening, all of you, and thanks for joining. You all know, right? Every weekend we used to spend some time, something like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, to understand the some of the real project, implementation and use cases. What's there with the AWS and DevOps environment? This is all the project we are planning to discuss so far, right? We have completed 2 projects, but our ultimate target is 25 projects we are planning to complete on every weekend. The people, those who are new, who are not part of those two project sessions, right? I'll share the recordings of those sessions. Go ahead and make use of it. And yeah, welcome to the project 3 use case. Okay, so I think we can get it started. Almost everyone knows the rules, whoever part of the session, right? So if you have any questions or any doubt, feel free to unmute and ask your questions. We can discuss about that. Okay. If it is a general doubts, I'll give you the parking lot end of the session. You can even ask your general questions, about your career, about anything you wanted to ask technically. I'm here to answer. Any doubt with respect to this today's project? I mean, project 3. Today we are going to discuss about cross-account automation with centralized IAM role-based authentication. So IAM role-based authentication is the key for today's project. So any doubts about this particular project? Anytime, unmute and feel free to ask your questions. Okay. I think we are good to move.
Shankar?
Yeah, Rahul, you have something?
Yeah. Sorry to disturb you. I just want to just ask one question, right?
There's a background noise from your side. Your question is not clear.
Yeah. See, whenever describe the project, right? Give some example, right? So we can know easily understand like project flow, right? If you have a real time example like that.
Sure, I'll try to include today. If that
Mhm.
useful, give your
Yeah,
feedback end of the session. Otherwise, we'll plan accordingly. All right.
yeah, sure. Definitely. Thank you.
Here, Rahul. I don't know, like basically what you meant, because what you are seeing in the screen, that is the real project example only. But
No,
still,
no, no. Like, you mentioned that objective, right? In the design the project, the headlines on our project, right? Like sometime you can do the real time descriptions, like how project go through and so how useful, like I can use that project in a real time like this.
okay, fine, Rahul. So better,
Yeah.
yeah. Next time, if you're talking, make sure you don't have any background noise, okay? Because the session's going to record. Huh? If we are finding this background noise, right? Audience who's watching the recording, it will be disturbance for them. Okay. People who are asking a question, make sure you do not have any background noise. So let's get started. As I said, for project 3, we are going to talk about cross-account automation with the centralized IAM role-based authentication. What is meant by cross-account automation? What is meant by centralized IAM role-based authentication? There are two terms mentioned here. Basically, you can see objective of today's use cases: design and implement cross-account automation with centralized IAM role. What we are going to do, we are going to plan and we are going to implement a cross-account automation. Cross-account automation means if you are part of my project 2, last session, we have discussed about AWS Organization pair route master account. That pair route, right, has multiple different, organization unit. Under that organization, they had a multiple individual AWS account. So last session, right, we have predominantly talks about the applying the SCP policy, centralized cost management, billings, all those things we have predominantly focused on. But where in your environment, if you are having multiple AWS accounts, imagine 10 AWS accounts you have in your AWS project, 20 accounts, 50 accounts, 100 accounts, it will be really good to have the cross account automation and a centralized role-based authentication. Why? Because from one account in the sense from your master account, what you can do, you will be able to easily authenticate other accounts also. Even though you have a 100 AWS account in your environment, you don't want to go and log in each and every account one by one, getting the things done. Instead of doing like that, from your master account, right? Okay, using there is a functionality called cross account automation. Okay, using the IAM role, right? You would be able to programmatically authenticate all 100 account and you can fetch the data. That is what they're trying to highlight here. Okay, design and implement class account automation system using centralized IAM role. Okay, so from master account, we are going to virtually connect other 100 account and fetching the data. That's what the ideal plan. So for that, right, we are going to use the Lambda function. Today I've taken a two example. As Rahul mentioned, can you tell me as a real, example also? Today example is I'm going to have a two actual automation I'm going to use. One is unused EBS volumes, which means in my 100 AWS accounts, I told you, right, as an example, I told you, in the 100 AWS account, many of them, right, they are not following the standard. I mean, whenever they create EBS volume, right, that's fine. But whenever they terminate the server, some of the EBS volumes are ideally available as an orphan resource. Unnecessarily that EBS volumes are there. By mistakenly, users are forgot to remove. Which means those EBS volumes, right? Every month we will pay the bill, but we don't know how many volumes are there, how to delete, how to clean. And even if we know also, we will not properly follow the standard. At least out of 100 account, if you go, minimum 50, 60 account, right, might be having the different EBS volumes unnecessarily will be there. So today Lambda function to clean those 100, accounts EBS volume, which is ideally available. That is first example. Second Lambda function is to monitor the subnets running out of IP addresses. In all 100 accounts, right? If I have a one AWS account or two AWS account, I can always monitor the IP address, how much consumed, okay, how many available as remaining. But imagine you have 100 plus AWS account, it will be very much difficult to keep in mind, okay, account A, account 1, remaining 10 IPs available. Account 2, having 100 IP available, like that. It's very much difficult to remember. So we are going to have two Lambda functions. One is for identifying the unused EBS volume in 100 AWS accounts. Second Lambda function is to monitor the subnets. If any subnets bringing less than 10 IP or bringing less than 20 IP addresses, right, we'll get the notification. This is what the two real Lambda functions for today's use case. Okay. And moreover, for doing this, right, we are not going to log into each and every account. In only one place, I'm going to set up some infrastructure. By setting up the infrastructure in only one place, that's going to grab the information from all 100 AWS accounts. Okay. So I'll open the paint and I'll tell you how the architecture should be.
Sir,
Yes, Anurag.
sir, I need to have one clarification. Like you just told us, IPs are available. I am unable to understand that. IPs are available. How?
If you have a subnet, imagine when you're creating a subnet, you created the subnet /24 CIDR. In that case, 256 IP address allocated to that subnet, which means whenever you create the resource in that AWS account, from that subnet, right, it will take one IP. Imagine you have a 200 servers, easy to instance in your environment, where it takes the IP from. Obviously, it took the IP from your subnet, correct? So imagine your subnet, all 256 IP addresses are occupied by some resources. When you try to create a new resources, right, you do not have any IP address available with your subnet. So in that case, you will not be able to provision the resources.
Yes, sir.
Imagine you are today, the next weekend, you have a production implementation. You are going to implement something in your prod. Okay. So in that case, if you are not having your IP address available in your account, in your subnet, you will be, you will be into issue, correct? So we are using this automation, we are proactively going to monitor is any subnet going to, running out of IP, it will monitor and it will let us know. Okay. Hello, Anurag.
Yes, sir. Yes, got it. Got it.
Yeah. So I'm going to have AWS account 1, AWS account 2, 3, 4. Like I have a n number of AWS accounts. Like that, I have a n number of AWS accounts with me. Using IAM role, right? What I'm going to do here, what I will do, this AWS account will have one AWS account will have one account number. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something like that. This is the account number. All right. So here I'm going to create one IAM role. First step, here I need to create one IAM role. This role for trigger my Lambda. This is for triggering my Lambda functions. Next, all these in this 100 plus account, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to create again, there is one more role. Or EBS Lambda role. In each and every account, right, I need to create an individual role. I go to IAM service and create the same role across all these account. When you create a role, right, there is something called a trust. The role, when you create a role, right, there is something called trust. Okay, what you need to do, you need to enable the trust, the role trust with this particular master account ID. What is the ID? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something like that. You need to enable the trust with this particular account. All these role, whatever the role you are creating in every individual account, right? You need to enable the trust. You need to enable the trust. Once you enable the trust, right? From this Lambda role, you would be able to authenticate to all these account. You would be able, because trust has been enabled. Because trust has been enabled. So with the help of these, right, you would be able to authenticate to all these account through programmatically. Okay, one key point to remember, programmatically. Okay, using Lambda. Python code. Okay, imagine like the Python, Lambda Python code. Programmatically, you would be able to authenticate from this role. Okay, this way of cross account authentication. See, from you are physically available in this account only. Okay, your Lambda function physically available in this particular account only. For getting some information, virtually you are going to log in to this all 100 plus accounts. Okay, this virtually you are going to enable, right? This is something called cross account. Okay, this is something called cross account. Okay, this is something called cross account. So imagine how your key component, how your AWS organization structure. You know, right? Root organization, houses of all AWS account, including centralized automation. You must be knowing it already. Okay, you must be knowing it. What happened? If you part of last project 2, you must be hearing, understanding. Root organization where you will have a master account. Under that only all your AWS accounts are available. In the same account only, you are creating your Lambda automations as well. See, you are going to creating this centralized automations. Here only you are going to set it up. Centralized automation, you are going to set up under this master account. Okay. Okay, here only you are going to set up. So this is the organization OU structure. In your master account, right, you have a production OU, development OU, automation OU, something like that. So this I have account 1 and 2, account 1 and 2. Okay, automation account. It is the master account, so you can forget about it. Okay, you have a totally 4 AWS accounts are there: 2 production, 2 development account. Okay, under this master account, you have this many. For an example, I have mentioned like 100 accounts here. Okay, Once done, IAM architecture. IAM architecture is cross account assume role. Okay. IAM architecture is cross account assume role. See, this is a pair account. This is a account 1, account 2, account 3. Like you have a 50 or 100 accounts are there. From your pair account, right, we are going to authenticate. From your pair account, we are going to authenticate. All right. So this is what we are going to see. Before that, Rahul has some question. If he doesn't have any background noise, we'll allow him to talk. Yeah, Rahul, go ahead. Rahul, you raised your hand. I think you're speaking on.
Yeah. See, I just have a question. See, in the root account, we have multiple OU, right?
Yes.
OU we have created as a testing, development, and productions, right? Any automations, okay?
Yes.
And if it is having the same subnet we have created, right? Let's example 10.10.0.0.1/24, right?
Okay. Okay.
So and in production we are created, and development also if it is created same. Any conflict between that subnetting in that same account?
Yeah, good question. So basically, you have a 4 account,
Mhm.
totally 5 account, including master account, 5 account. So those 5
Right,
accounts are categorized in 3 OUs. Okay.
right.
So
Mhm.
each account can have any subnet and network range. Imagine this account might have
Mhm.
10.1.0.0/24, something
Mhm.
like that. IP example I'm
Okay.
telling. Similarly, you may
Mhm.
have something like that's like 172,
Mhm.
16, something like that. Also, you can have in this account. You might have another 192, 168, 1.0 / anything it could be. Not an issue. But you need to make sure. But if you go to live environment, right, live project, they will follow any
Mhm.
one standard. If they follow in 10 series across all your account, they'll follow 10 series. If they follow 172 seriously across all your network, all your 100 plus AWS account, they'll follow the same IP ranges. That is the industry standard. Okay. Once they have configured, right, what they will do, they will ensure
Mhm.
that communication between network level communication between all these accounts. Okay.
Okay.
So for that,
There
they
is
will
no
create
issue with
either,
that.
yeah, for that,
Mhm.
they'll create either network peering, VPC. We
Mhm.
have concept called VPC peering, or using
Mhm.
transit gateway also, we can ensure the communication between two different, more than one AWS account communication. Those for network level communications we can do. Okay. But
Okay.
for today's use case, this cross
Mhm.
account automation, right, it does not require any network level communications.
Okay.
Even each both of all your 5 AWS account configured with a different IP range, cross account automation works. How cross account automation works without any network connectivity and proper communication? Because this uses purely based on authentication strategy. Okay, because we are not going to transmit any data here. So authentication strategies, you have a trust enabled. You are great at the role in individually all 100 plus accounts. You have enabled the trust with this master account. You enable the trust with this master account. Using that role, it can authenticate and it can, work. Okay. So when you have one server over here, imagine you have one server over here, you have one more server over here. When you wanted to access this server to this server, you want to transmit something from this server to this server, that time you need to keep in mind to have a proper network CIDR range, all those things. Okay.
It should be different, right? It should be different,
It
not in
can be
same, right?
different. It can be same IP series, even though yeah, it's different or it follows the same standard. We need
Mm.
to enable VPC peering or transit gateway to communicate between these 5 accounts in network perspective.
Okay.
But
Mm.
in 99.99%, if you go any project, when they have
Mm.
more number of AWS account, they follow
Mhm.
same series of IP ranges as a best practice.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, one question I'm having, sir.
Yeah, no.
Sir, at the time of creation of VPC and subnet, the CIDR range has already been defined,
Yeah,
right, sir?
yeah,
And accordingly, IPs are available to be consumed. If down
yes.
the line, uh, resources are being created, and after 2 years, suppose the all IPs are consumed, and now I want to create more resources for that, more IPs are required. How I will manage? Consider I am having one AWS account.
Okay, good. So basically, right, as an AWS architect, as a AWS cloud architect, when they plan for the infrastructure, right? He will have an idea in his mind what IP range it's going to use it in this environment. Okay. So based on that only, there is something called IP allocation table. He will maintain an IP allocation table. For account 1, I'm going to give this is the IP range. For account 2, I'm going to give this is the IP range. IP4. So he will have a reserved IP addresses. He will properly plan for for his infrastructure. Whenever new accounts comes, right, he will keep release IP. He'll refer the IP allocation table. Okay, you can use this IP range for this account. So whenever it's a need, right, he'll refer it. In any case, any particular account, they are running out of IP. Imagine all 250 IP addresses are finished. I'm using so many EC2 server. I'm using so many EKS clusters. So my IP address is finished. In that case, right, we will request our architect or network team who's locally available. He will go and check any other, what is the next available IP in the IP allocation table. Today, in my today's scenario, you can edit the VPC. AWS recently bought this feature. You can edit the VPC. You can add the new CADR. One VPC can hold 2 CADRs actually. Okay. You can add the new CADR. You can create one more subnet with the newly added CADR. You can continue to use. You will have a communication.
Perfect.
Okay. Actually, about VPC, I think project 5, or I'm not sure. Project 5, I think we are going to have a detailed explanation about entire networking VPC components actually, which is coming in upcoming projects. That day you will get more knowledge on that. Okay.
Okay. So, is there any project related to monitoring of the resources?
Yes, of course. That also.
Okay.
Actually, this 25 projects are planned across like, you don't need anything look outside this 25 projects, everything included within this 25 itself. Because my 13 years of, career exposure, since I'm not a cloud architect, I'm a cloud consultant, more than cloud architect actually. In my cloud consultant role, whatever the, I minimum I worked on, professionally, I worked on around, 20 different projects. As a freelancer, right, I've architected around more than, 200 environment as a freelancer. So with all my exposure, I got this 25 use cases actually. So everything you will get it here. Like you don't need to go outside the box. If you clear in this 25 projects, that will be really good. Also, for each and every project, to get the hands-on. Okay, all 25 projects, to get the hands-on also, you can practically implement in our AWS account. That also I'm planning for the internship kind of classes. This internship for not for the freshers, only for the people who have experience in IT. They can be any sector, any background. If they have an interest, they can participate in 1 month of this internship. So within 1 month, I'll make sure they are practically also gained the knowledge for all 25 projects. Now you are discussing theoretically and architecture wise you are discussing, right? In that internship, people going to get all 25 projects, practically they're going to implement in their account with my help and support. Within 1 month. That is my next action plan. Let's see how people are cooperating. I'll expand that.
Sir, in that visual diagram, you mentioned Lambda Python for AWS account.
Yep.
What using that? What we need to do for roles?
Okay.
Using
Lambda
JSON
is one of the AWS service. Okay, how you have a IAM service, EC2 service, right? Similarly, Lambda also one of the AWS service. That has been used for running any Python script. Okay. So here I told you there are 2 scenarios, unused EBS volume and subnet which are running out of IP. Those information I'm going to capture. I cannot capture it manually, right? So I need some program. So for that I use Python with the help of Boto3 is the library. I don't want you guys to confuse for now. But Python, using the Python code, I'm going to fetch those information on all 100 accounts. To run the Python code, I must need one platform, right? The platform is something called Lambda. The serverless service offered by AWS actually. If you go to AWS console, if you search like a Lambda, you will get that service. Whatever the Python code you developed, if you give it that to your Lambda, based on the frequency, like every week you need to run, or every month you need to run, or daily you need to run, those things will be automatically taken care. Your responsibility to configure one time. Rest all will be taken care by Lambda. Okay.
Okay, Hari sir.
Cool. Fine. Now, as I said,
Yes,
IAM architecture. Okay. IAM architecture. Let's focus on the project. After that, I'll give you a time. Okay. So IAM architecture, class account assume role. If you can see in each AWS account, the prod dev create a specific IAM role that grants permission to centralized automation and assume and perform the action task EBS volume and subnet monitor. What they're trying to say, as I mentioned, in all 100 plus AWS account, you need to create IAM role. Okay, in any name, I created AWS subnet Lambda role. Once you created it, enable the trust and add the necessary permission. Okay, IAM permissions. If you do that from the AWS account using that role, we will be able to virtually authenticate from the serverless Lambda service with the programming language Python. Okay, that is what action plan. Now we are coming to the automation. What are the automation we are going to set up? Lambda EBS volume cleanup. That's the first automation. Second one. This is for Rahul's. Rahul asked, right? Hey, Hari, show me some live resource perspective also. Yeah, for him. So today, live projects. From the live project, what are the exact automation we are going to take? And yeah, as I said already, EBS volume cleanup automation. There are two Lambda functions going to run. There are two Lambda functions are going to run. There are two Lambda functions are going to run. So what are those? In all 100 accounts, okay, I need to fetch the unattached EBS volumes. If unattached EBS volumes are the how unattached EBS volumes are created, what are the sources in live project? People write, they'll create a EBS volume. They plan to attach this volume to some EC instance. They might forgot. Okay, they have not attached. Or some EC instance, right, has multiple EBS volumes attached. When you terminate those servers, right, there are some volumes are not getting deleted along with your EC instance. Those volumes are still exist under the EBS service. For those volumes, you need to manually go and delete. But in reality, right, not every AWS engineers are doing it. So what we need to do? So those kind of unused, unattached EBS volumes are month on month. If you open any AWS account, they'll actually charging us huge. Actually, they are actually charging us huge. So simply, I told you, right, 100 AWS account. Each AWS account 10 GB volume. Imagine 10 GB. Simply 10 GB volumes are ideally available. Imagine like that. Each account 10 GB volumes are unattached. 100 account mean how much? 10 into 100, 1000 GB. 1000 GB. Let me open the ChatGPT. Let's ask ChatGPT how much it's cost. Okay. So in my AWS account, I have 1000 GB ABS volume available plus unused. How much it should bill me every month? Give me some approx amount. Okay, those data are going to be like GP2 volume. Okay, in US East 1 region. Let's see how much it gives for 1 month. If you have a 1000 GB, say $100 per month, we are simply we are wasting. 10 GB I have taken as a minimum actually. Okay, you won't believe last month and all in every account we have identified in our project close to 400 GB per account. So we'll go with the rough calculation, $100. So if you convert it in Indian money, USD to INR, $100. So how much per month we are spending extra? Almost 8,400 rupees. 8,400 rupees into 1 year. How much it is? For simply 10 GB. 10 GB is very common. For 10 GB, yearly around 80,000 we would able to see on a yearly budget. But actual in reality, if you go right, each and every account you will have minimum found 100 GB, 200 GB, 300 GB, something like that. In reality, if you go 100 GB minimum, okay, so you can calculate every month you can save around 50,000 to 80,000 every month in your bill. When you have hundreds of AWS account, minimum I'm guarantee you would be able to see with this automation around 80,000, 1 lakh, something like those in Indian rupee every month. So the big saving, right? So this automation will help us to identify those volumes. Second one is subnet IP monitoring automation. Basically, when you create an AWS account based on the IP allocation table, you will provide some range, network range to each account. /24 for the subnet, /26 for the subnet, /28 for the subnet. Like you will provide the IP based on the requirement. If you open the CIDR wiki, you would be able to see here. Look at this. If you use /24, you will get how many IP? 256 IP. In your subnet, if you use /25, how many IP addresses you will get? To 128 IP. Maximum in project, right? People will prefer to go /126 or /25. Okay. So if you use /26 and all, you have only cutting 64 IP addresses. If your account is running out of IP, if you have any production implementation, if there is no IP available left in your subnet, right, you will not be able to implement it. So what you need to do as a cloud engineer, you need to proactively identify those things. You need to proactively identify those things. Yeah, proactive identification, we have a project in future we are going to discuss, but for now, I know subnet availability, you need to monitor it. Any subnet you found IP is available less than 10 or 20, this automation will go and capture this data and it will proactively notify us. Understand these two automations? Any question regarding this automations? Yeah, here you go. I'll share this document. Here you go. You will be able to see the EBS volume cleanup, subnet. Outcome, successfully implemented the cross-account IAM-based automation system to manage the unused EBS volume, monitor the IP utilization. This reduces the manual maintenance effort and reduce the optimization across the AWS account. Even though you have 1,000 AWS account, with the same strategy, right, you would be able to easily manage this account automation. From your pair account, right, you are going to have a role. Similarly, each and every AWS account, you are going to create a role. When you create a role, you are going to give the trust enablement to this pair account. So your automation will take your rest. From your automation, you would be able to manage and things from one centralized place. You don't need to go each and every account and managing it. One centralized master account, you would be able to capture all the data. Okay, with automated way. It's more efficient to use in project, right? So this is what I would like to know. Bring it to all your notice, guys. So I think that's it for today's project. If you have any question, I can explain that. We can drop for today. Okay, all okay. So if anybody is the last two sessions, right? Here you go. If you go to YouTube, simply type like high tech institution. Okay, you will have the channel ready. You can see this is the project 1 I have uploaded. This is the project 2. See, around 600 people are viewed. Around 140 people are viewed. So this is a project 1, project 2. If anybody missed it, right, you can have a look. And more than that, right, if you go to any project, whatever I'm showing in the documentation, right, in the description I've added objective, key component. I mean, whatever I'm showing you in this document, right, the content you wanted to copy paste, here I have already mentioned. Okay. So you want to part of our AWS WhatsApp channel. Okay, I am maintaining my own channel. So if you wanted to be part of it, just click the link so that you will be notified about all the project session, every updates related to interview, right? You'll be getting notified from my side directly. All right. So this is the
Sir,
way you can do.
when are you coming to Pondicherry office, sir? Branch office?
I'm in
Will you
Pondicherry only right now, Ashwin. Probably tomorrow I'll
Oh,
come to Pondicherry office.
oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Who has your number actually? Satish or Mohan?
Sorry, sir.
So who has your number, phone number?
Both of them are having my number.
Okay, tomorrow once I reach the office, I'll get the number from them. I'll call you. Okay, we can
Sure,
meet.
sure, sir.
For others, guys, Ashwin is one of the person who getting internship with us. He's exploring all the things and stuff. Is to visit directly, but yeah, I told you right to Anurag. Future, I'm going to start it in the online basis also. So in online, all these 25 projects, you're going to get the internship under me. Yeah, that the plan. I'll let you know in upcoming sessions. Okay. All right, Rahul, you have any questions? You raised your hand.
Yeah, we can consider this project like cost saving project, right? And
No, you cannot
which are
consider this
the
project as a cost saving. You can
Mhm.
consider this project as centralized automation. When you have a 100
Okay,
plus AWS account, how we can have the centralized one place, how we can fetch all the data, and how the
okay,
cross account, IAM role based authentication works across the account. This project for that purpose, not for cost cutting. Example,
okay.
I have taken this to automation, as you mentioned, automation one
Yeah.
to two. It could be any
Mhm.
automation, you can follow the same standard. Cost cutting future,
Oh,
we have a dedicated project, which all the area in AWS account, we can cut down the cost. That is
yeah.
something called FinOps. Okay, so under the FinOps, we'll discuss in future.
Add some the general question as well. I have upcoming interviews for AWS DevOps, so I need to discuss about something like roles and something. So I can discuss here. Yeah, some other
Okay,
platform
you
I
have a
can
AWS
reach
DevOps
out to.
interview. You wanted to know your roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, yeah. Like
What is your experience?
total experience having 8 year experience.
In AWS, you are going to attend the interview. How much years of experience you portrayed to them?
2 to 3 years. Yeah,
Two
three
to 3
years.
years, huh?
Yeah,
In 2 to 3 years, you should be in the role of, AWS engineer level or maximum AWS senior engineer in any project. Designation can vary, okay, company to company. But your roles and
Mhm.
responsibility would be, you should be in a position to, understand minimum 20 services in AWS. Something called IAM, EC2, S3, VPC, CloudWatch, CloudTrail, RDS, DynamoDB, AWS Organization Service, SNS, SCS, Glacier, like around 25 services, right? You must be familiarized with. And you should know provisioning of AWS resources, right? You will not do graphically. As you
Okay,
mentioned, in 3 to 4 years of experience, you need to do it through cloud formation or
okay,
Terraform. So you need to know how resource provisioning works from CloudFormation and Terraform, because when you are portraying that in an interview, you need to tell them in our environment we are creating the resources using infrastructure as a code using CloudFormation or Terraform. Like that, you need to portray. Then
yeah,
you need to familiarize with any 5 SCP different policy from AWS organization. How SCP works? What are the 5 different scenario we can configure SCP?
okay,
And that is your role. And you should be familiar with any 10 different use case to create the Lambda automation. Lambda, any different. Today you learned about 2 automations scenario. I'm telling. Similarly, you should be
Mhm.
familiar with 10 different scenario like that. Okay, that should be a part of your role. Apart from that, right, you need to know how the FinOps works in every product. FinOps means how, if I'm giving on AWS account to Rahul, in which all the perspective Rahul can think and cut down my monthly billing. What are the possible area Rahul can suggest? So those things, right, you should be knowing it. Apart from that,
Okay,
almost 5 to 10 AWS services. What are the problem you faced recently? How you overcome that issue? How you troubleshooted? What are the steps involved? Those information, right? You should be knowing it. Okay, these are the
okay,
your roles in every project. So for one thing, I can help you with all those things. If you again go to my same channel, I have one dedicated playlist.
okay.
Actually, that is my one of my great playlist, which suggested by my audience. You will also come to know there is something called AWS troubleshooting. Where is that?
Yeah, yeah. Troubleshooting, no? Yeah,
This
I
video
went through
around the
that.
12 videos are
Mm.
there. You must be watched all these videos actually.
Yeah, yeah, I watched already. Yeah.
Okay, if you watch this, then you'll familiarize with how people are troubleshooting. If any issue comes, see what are the issue I handled. AWS troubleshooting EC2 instance connection timeout. You are not able to connect a EC2 instance, what you will do? Around some steps I have covered. Second one, right? Your ELB, AWS Elastic Load Balancer. Your application you exposed that is not being, exposed. How you will troubleshoot? VPC, how the VPC pairing you will troubleshoot? How F3 issues you will troubleshoot? So likewise, I have, dealt with the different scenarios and issues. So if you watch this, if you go that will be added benefit. Okay.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Cool. So any other question to anyone?
So for Lambda function, Python is required or essential for us to learn, or the developer will provide us the Lambda function.
Yeah, good question. Actually, for Lambda, it's not only for Python. It support any languages, Java, Ruby, Go language, .NET, any language it support doesn't matter. But in AWS, right, they are officially providing one library called Boto3.
Yes.
This has been official library provided by AWS. This works based on Python. So if you know Python, Python also easy to understand by every people, right? I mean, people who new to programming, it's very hard for them to understand Java, .NET kind of languages, Node.js kind of language, because so many syntax, so many things we need to keep in mind. People who new to programming background, Python is user friendly, easy to understand. From that perspective, right? If you learn Python, Boto3 would be the library for you. Using Lambda and Boto3, in today's, if you go any project, 80% of environment, they have automation with that Python Lambda only. Okay. And today, if you go any environment, you cannot see an environment without any automations. So if you know Python and, the specific Boto3, it will be really good for you. Again, in my YouTube channel itself, I have a playlist for Python Boto3. If you have seen that, that will be benefit to you. I'm already having the content uploaded in my channel. You can have a look on it. If you go somewhere,
Python property concept.
yeah, somewhere I have the Python. See, Python Boto3 concept. If you go there, already I have mentioned like complete Python basics. So if you are new to programming, what are the things in Python you must be knowing? Here I have learning Python, before going to Boto3. Simple way to list any resources in Boto3. First, we cannot directly go for an automation. First, you need to learn how we can list anything. I have 100 EC2 instance, how I can get the report of 100 EC2 instance. Those listing you must know. Then once your list is ready, how we can export to CSV, how we can automate and send to the email. So step by step, right? We have included and Boto3 FAQ, discussion FAQ. 7 videos will be helpful to you.
Is this playlist enough sufficient to understand Python for AWS?
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you repeat again?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, is this a playlist enough capable to understand the Python concept for AWS perspective?
If you watch those 7 video, you can write code by your own for any scenario throughout your life.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, one last question from Srikanth. Okay, we'll wind up that. Yeah, Srikanth, go ahead.
Yeah. What is the duration? What is the fees? How many projects will covered for 5 years experience guy?
I don't get. Actually, this is free for if you have any, experience. This 25 projects are free for everyone. We're not charging anything.
So my side, my problem is I done 6 years testing, but due to COVID, I lost my job. Since 2 years, I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
So
Overall
if you
experience of yours?
6 years.
Your overall 6 years experience. Currently, you are looking for a job change, right?
Yeah, I'm not working currently. 2 years. Past 2 years.
Right. So you know anything in AWS before?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So
when I'm
where you
learning
learned?
IoT,
Any
yeah,
institute
AWS.
or any your online platform?
Yeah,
How you learn?
Yeah, I'm good at AWS. What
No,
are
I'm
the
asking you
UAT?
where you learned. I'm asking. So you are good means that's really great. Where you learned?
Quality thought. Quality thought.
Is the training institute?
Yeah, training institute.
Okay. Maybe I'm not sure about it. Anyway, So see, when you know AWS concepts, right? Obviously, the training institute and the online Udemy YouTube channels are giving you the content, but they will not tell you how the real project should be. What is your roles and responsibility? If you
Yeah,
go
I'm
to
agree.
interview, that is what people are asking you for. Tell about your infrastructure like that. So in that
Yeah,
case,
yeah, yeah.
you need to be part of, you need to get the internship. People are misunderstood.
Uh-huh.
Like we have an internship only for the college freshers. Not like that. See, even
Mhm.
though we are working experience, we have. So see, tomorrow you got a job. Imagine tomorrow you got the job. You are going into any infrastructure. They are giving you one ticket. Do you really think you will be able to directly work on that task?
No.
Obviously, no, because you know only the concepts.
Concepts.
Because their scenario is different, their infrastructure is different. To understand their infrastructure, to understand the use case and requirement, you need to undergo the internship. When you undergo the
Yeah,
internship,
yeah.
you will come to know about all those, use
Yeah,
case.
yeah. All institutes only told content, then prospect, then services. That's. But I'm seeing the scenario use case based first time. I'm seeing the different use cases and one to master different slaves. First time I'm hearing that.
Okay, okay. I mean, that's how we discussed two projects already, the scenarios. Today is the
Mhm.
third scenario,
Mhm.
what you have seen.
Mhm.
Likewise, only we are going to
Mhm.
discuss 25 scenarios. Okay, but
Mhm.
I wanted to practically implement it, practically get a hands-on this 25, projects. Okay, you need to be part
Mhm.
of my internship program that I'm going to start
Okay.
in
Okay.
the upcoming weeks. If you are, watch
Uh-huh.
the attend project 4 and 5, if you are okay with that, see, two options I'm giving you. If you are able
Mm.
to attend my weekend session, you are able to replicate by your own by videos what I'm giving, right? Like this. If
Mm.
you're able to
Mm.
replicate by your own, I'm more than happy. You don't want to pay anything for that. You put your effort, you can do it by your own. No problem for me.
I got. I
Yeah,
got
you
it. I
want
got.
me to personally assist. You want me to drive you through with all the use cases, practically implementing in your AWS account. Then you need to be part of my internship program. It
Yeah,
depends
yeah, that I
on
need
your.
because I need to get the job on the board. That's it.
Okay,
I need
okay,
to solve myself. I need in real time also. I need to face it the issue. I need to resolve the issues, client, what are the any type of use case that I want,
okay,
especially.
okay.
And internship, all I need to feel get the confidence first.
Fine, 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 fine. All right, if you don't mind, if I ask you one question, you
Hmm.
tell me, transparently, like you have learned AWS course from somewhere, right? How much you paid for that? How much is the duration for that course?
Actually, that is not related to AWS. That related IoT. Actually, I paid 6,000 over there.
Okay, okay. How much
They
duration?
told there is almost I trained more than 6 months, almost 1 year. I'm going through the IoT, AWS, DevOps, everything, not one service.
Okay, in AWS, what are the
Because
services you thought? Because I am unsure about IoT and all those things. I know AWS and DevOps. So what are the
I know the
services?
AWS Lambda function I use over there for API to collect the data and S3 bucket, what I know, and IAM services roles and these things, and EBMS, I think virtual things. These I know 5 are things, and DynamoDB I not usually mostly S3 packet and I need to collect the data. This I
Okay,
know I
maybe
use. Uh,
yeah. The way you learned so your what is your expectation? Which career you wanted to fix? Because you are learning IA, IoT kind of things. You are trying to change your career to AWS. That I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I got it. I got it, but I'm presently QA. I am the trainer also actually. More than 2 years, I'm in the training teaching also, but
That's
I'm not getting over the subject. Even though I'm getting
See, first
my
you need to put
Java
your
Python.
target properly, brother. Okay. Srikant, you need to fix your target properly. You are going to become a cloud architect or
Yeah, yeah.
cloud DevOps engineer or IoT engineer. You need to fix your focus first, target first.
No, 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 no.
Based on that, you will
I'm
go.
learning about and only cloud architect, not any other
Okay, if you are
dimension.
want to
Only.
learn about the cloud architect, right? There are some certain services are there. I'll list down one by one. Starting from IAM, EC2,
Okay,
S3,
okay.
VPC,
Uh,
RDS,
PPC.
DynamoDB,
Okay,
SNS,
okay,
SQS, Glacier, Cloud Formation, Lambda, okay, AWS
okay,
Organization,
okay.
these kind of, load balancers, auto scaling, Route 53,
53.
KMS,
Okay, okay.
encryption.
KMF. Okay,
These kind of
okay.
services, right? You must be familiarized with. Around 15 to 20 servers I have listed down approximately right now.
Mhm,
These
mhm,
have
mhm.
only focus on these services, not more than that.
Okay, okay.
Okay, you need to be, get a knowledge on these services. Only then you can become architect, cloud architect.
I'm not getting thought any other, only cloud I'm focusing
Yeah,
because
only
I'm not
then in
getting.
this case, you need to focus on only these are the. this.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
All right, guys, fine.